just Oklahoma City citizens, because Mrs. Luper has done a great deal for the city of Oklahoma City and the state.
And I know those Zetas are planning something terrific
yeah.
for her, because once a Zeta, always a Zeta. Zeta born, Zeta bred, when I die, Zeta dead. And thank you very, very much for calling in.
Marilyn, I just wanted to say a word to her, because she is some lady, and I'm glad that she's going to retire when she's still young enough to do some of the things that she wants to do.
Well, she's young enough to do it, because I sure can't keep up with her. Thanks very much for calling, Lily. Bye-bye. I want to tell you that she's not only taught at Dungy High School, she's taught at Douglas High School, Northwest Classen, Pawnee, John Marshall, Northeast, and am I leaving off anywhere? And Taft, Oklahoma. That's, Shelley, now you know so much. You come around here and tell me what I'm forgetting.
And at Taft, Oklahoma School for the Deaf and Blind.
And if you have something you want to say about Clara Luper, call me. I'll listen to anybody. 478-2103. And here's Shelley with some other letters. Tina has a poem she's getting ready to read.
Clara, the C is for Christianity, and the L is for leadership. 1A is for advice, Clara Luper's best gift. The R is for righteousness, Clara Luper's goal in life. And last, the A is for achievement. Everything she's gotten done to think, I've been part of it. I'm the Lucky One, by Stephanie England, one of Clara Luper's students.
Ayana? Anata? Oh, I'm sorry. Shelley is talking so soft I can't hear her. Nala, how are you doing? And this is Nala Joy Phillips.
Oh, I just wanted Clara to know that every time I'm so full and so happy, I don't know what to do. Every time I go out to eat, I see her face in my plate. I see her. I love her. She taught where I was reared in Pawnee, Oklahoma. I will be there with bells on. The only way you can keep me from there is for me to be in a tornado or death. I'll be there.
Oh, you warm my heart. You're just bringing tears to my eyes. I appreciate you so much, and I love you so much. And through all the years and all the tears, I know where you're coming from, and we love you.
I love you, too.
And
happy days.
Happy days to you, too.
Okay.
And thank you. And I look forward so much to seeing you next Saturday night, because I have declared that day. I, being Marilyn Hildred, have declared that day Clara Luper's Day in the USA. Okay, and I look forward to seeing you there. And thanks so much. Okay. Now, I've heard from the students from John Marshall. I've heard from a student from Dungy. But I have not heard from a student from Northwest, Douglas, Pawnee. Oh, and poor little, I don't know what else to say. What about Taft and Douglas? I tell you what. Oh, and we have Esther Swain. How are you doing, sister?
Fine. How you doing, dear?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. What do you have to say about the Clara Luper?
I think Clara Luper is the most wonderful person I have ever met. She has gone through so many trials for her race, and I stand right behind her corner. I don't think the majority, maybe more people should stand behind her. She has done so many things for the blacks. I remember downtown, we couldn't try on hats, browns. She went down there and sat and took some children down there with her, and they spat on her. They did everything. I think we should be more appreciative of her. I'm so glad that Clara Luper is a Zeta. All the Zetas worship Clara Luper. She's a wonderful person. And I hope her retirement will be one of the best she has ever known. Tell her I said that.
Well, I want to know one thing. I want to know, will I see you next Saturday night at that big retirement celebration?
You will see me next Saturday night if I can find someone to go out with.
Uh-oh.
I don't go out alone at night.
Uh-oh. I know, but lady, as beautiful as you are, it won't be any problem at all.
Well, I'm just looking for me. I'll find somebody.
And I'm looking forward to seeing all her sisters there next Saturday night. I love you, and thanks so much for calling.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
But we've heard from so many students. Let's continue to read from these letters that have come in.
The significance of what Clara has done for race relations is still being expanded. Clara belonged to a group of Oklahoma black leaders whose impact was felt across the nation at a critical time in our national history. This outstanding group of leaders promoted the integration of college campuses, the integration of city neighborhoods, and, in Clara's case, the integration of businesses and lunch counters. This contribution by Clara and these activists was absolutely remarkable. Oklahoma, with all its many problems, was actually ahead of most of the South in race relations due to these efforts. Clara Luper has continued to speak out on subjects that need and deserve her attention. Not only has she continued to be a voice for sanity, logic, and reason in race relations, recently when she spoke at the lectures endowed by my grandparents at Oklahoma Baptist University, she gave one of the most powerful, off-the-cuff, anti-drug speeches I have ever heard. I hope she continues to raise her voice to protect our youth from this insidious evil. Clara has lived from a time that saw attorney generals of the United States opposing integration to the point now where attorneys generals have become the guardians of the many rights that Clara and her friends created for Americans. But our task is not yet finished. I know that Clara's retirement, quote, retirement, will not see any relaxation of her vigilance on these matters. As her friend and as the Attorney General of the state of Oklahoma, I take this moment to join the many others in encouraging Clara Luper to keep her eye on all of us. Sincerely, Robert H. Henry, Attorney General.
Thank you so much. A student by the name of Steve Smith sent this. It's entitled Clara Luper. She's like no other teacher. Her class is so different. You must get involved or you cannot be efficient. There's no place for can't or accepting defeat, only trying again and making it complete. We often have fun and act out some dramas. You might get embarrassed or even go into trauma. But it's all over soon and the point becomes clear. You realize the lesson and have nothing to fear. We all grow as leaders while learning together. We stand up and speak each time getting better. Yes, Mrs. Luper may be tough and sometimes may seem mean, but the record of success is long, and this has been her dream. It's now time for her to leave, time to settle down, time to count her achievements for which she became renowned. And all of us would greatly hope that when she's not at hand, that she would remember always her diamonds of Luperland. Steve Smith, John Marshall High School.
Clara Luper, more than just a teacher. Miss Luper teaches more than history. She also teaches responsibility. If you say, well, or you know, she'll get on your case. But she will not discriminate sex, color, or race. When we come in her class, we are ready to work. For if we are not, she'll make us look like a jerk. I'm closing my poem. Miss Luper has made learning fun, so I won't go in public and speak like a bum. Written by Carlos Kopich, one of her students at John Marshall High School.
If you have something to say about Clara Luper, call me now, 478-2103. And here's Shelley.
Dear Clara, I know, as do many Oklahomans, the crucial role you played in the desegregation of public facilities in Oklahoma and in dealing with other forms of segregation in our state. You will, in fact, find a description in the enclosed copy of the State of Sequoia, a very important service you performed in the desegregation of public services in Oklahoma. Best wishes for a great evening on May 27th. Sincerely, Gerald C. Walker, President of Oklahoma City University.
A celebration for Clara Luper. Clara Luper's Day, USA. I have declared it. I, being Marilyn Hildred, and Shelley, I know Shelley is my co-partner in this. So if you want to know who declared this day, just say Marilyn and Shelley.
Luperland, bizarre or beautiful. I will never forget the first day of school. I came to Mrs. Luper's class expecting a normal teacher. I felt scared to death. I remember telling my parents that this woman was crazy, off her rocker, not much upstairs, and probably a threat to my life. For the next several weeks, I dreaded her class. She made us stand up and talk, and I truly believe that she tried to embarrass us. And when she succeeded, which was all too often for us, she really seemed to enjoy it. The back of her classroom was really crowded. Everyone was trying to hide from this psychotic woman who was obsessed with the phrase, I can learn, teach me, teach me. As the year went by, I gradually began to enjoy her class. Before long, I was even volunteering to be embarrassed, which wasn't so bad anymore. We probably used our history books a total of 5 times all year. This is truly amazing when you realize what all I have learned this year. Mrs. Luper has taught me more in 1 year than I've learned in the past 4. Not only have I learned a lot of history, but I've learned a lot about myself. I've grown a lot since I started this flight. Mrs. Luper is often criticized for her teaching methods. Although they are quite bizarre, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. In fact, a lot of other teachers could learn a lot from Mrs. Luper. In my opinion, the Oklahoma City school system is losing a real diamond this year, and that's from Stephanie Egling, one of Miss Luper's students.
Clara Luper, what is a teacher? A teacher is a person to me like my teacher. She is so wonderful to me. Mrs. Luper, that's my teacher. By Antoine Smith, 5/1889, 6 hour.
Miss Luper, I am a flower, and she is my sun. She helps me grow in more ways than one. She is the leader that expands my mind. She is my teacher, so wise and kind. She is the one who prepares me for life. She is the one who prepares me for the world outside. She lets me know what I must do to make all of my lifetime dreams come true. She's there for me through thick and thin. She's to me a lot more than a friend. I hold her most dearest to my heart, for with my teachings I will never part. When we first met, I was nothing but cold, but into her diamond I did unfold. That is by Tamika Jones, another student of Clara Luper.
The teacher, like a sun, helps the sapling to grow, sending rays of knowledge to teach what she knows. Learning and growing, the sapling succeeds in growing and becoming the greatest of trees. The sapling is now the tallest of oaks, yet his teacher he loves still for giving him hope. For Clara Luper, by Jeff Lewis, another student.
I appreciate you, the radio listening audience, calling, and I just received a call from Mrs. Graham. Mrs. Graham, I appreciate you calling. Mrs. Graham said that Mrs. Luper is one of the most wonderful people that she's ever known in her life, and she's never really had the opportunity to meet you. But the things that you've done, how many lives you affected, she really appreciates it. And this is Marilyn, Hildred, and Shelley, and everyone out here, Katina, and everyone out here, because today we're getting ready for a celebration, and this is Clara, I have declared next Saturday, Clara Luper's Day in the USA.
Look at my black finger. In my mind, that phrase will linger. She said this phrase throughout the year and taught us how to lose our fear. When you thought you knew it all, Miss Luper could make your ego fall. When the year started, we thought we were tough. When the year ended, we sure had enough. Miss Luper taught us in a different way. We learned something new every day. We learned about wars and about segregation, and we kept up with current events from around the nation. Don't mess up my history, you hear her yell. We mislead the students with lies we tell. We experienced embarrassment, and we went through strife, and I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. By Preston Young.
Dear Clara, you have been a source of inspiration to our family. We congratulate you for being there. For many years of dedication, service in the classroom, in the community, in the state of Oklahoma, and to our country. Many lives have been enriched because you cared enough to provide hope and make a difference. Best wishes for a happy retirement, your cousins Cecil and Juanita of Phoenix, Arizona.
Dearest Clara, I just wanted to say we're proud of you, and may you have the happiest retirement. Love, Maydell Davis.
Here's a little rhyme about Miss Luper. She's a good teacher, and she is super. When you come in her room, she says you learn, and if you play around, you'll get burned. She has been at this school for 18 years, through the good times, bad times, smiling and tears. Well, I'll miss her at this institution because of the way she taught the Constitution. Her life is history, always in motion. She loves all of us, and that's not a notion. She always says, do the best you can do. We all want to say, Miss Luper, we love you.
From the first of the year, she's been my friend. She taught me, she helps me until the end. Her class is fun, you learn a lot. I owe my thanks to her for the good grades I got. Miss Luper, you are grand. I'm so upset your teaching is coming to an end. By Sherry Redbird.
Clara Luper, history, knowledgeable, wise, caring, informative, intelligent, distinguished. History, Mrs. Luper, by Carla Mays, student at John Marshall High School.
When I came to Mrs. Luper's class, I was expecting it to be an ordinary history class. I heard from people about the way she ran things. I had my beliefs and doubts. I learned she's a lot different from other teachers. She makes everything we do easy to comprehend. She lets us act the people out, such as Henry Clay, Alexander Hamilton, and Aaron Burr's case. In our class, we have a president, vice president, speaker of the House, and a chief justice. We have a cabinet, senate, and House of Representatives. Each of our students represent a state and country and also a president. While beginning in Mrs. Luper's class, I've learned from not saying in my speeches to everything about the Civil War. It was a true experience to be in her class, even though she scared me to death those first few days of school. And that's from Barbara Branson.
Your career as a longtime educator, community leader, youth advisor, advocate, and humanitarian has been a positive influence in Oklahoma County for many years. Your retirement from active service as a public school teacher will be a missed opportunity for history students of future classes. However, I am sure your retirement from the classroom does not mean your retirement from the community. On behalf of the Oklahoma County Board of County Commissioners, we would like to make a presentation to you on Monday, May 22nd, 1989 at 9 a.m. during the Board of Commissioners meeting. I hope your schedule will afford you the opportunity to be present for a few minutes. We will not detain you for more than 15 to 20 minutes. Looking forward to seeing you Monday, May 22nd, 1989, if possible. You could arrive at 8:45. I would like to introduce you around before the meeting. Sincerely, Shirley Darrell, County Commissioner.
My teacher, Miss Luper. When I was informed of this essay, I thought it would be easy to do. Then I realized that it would not be quite as easy as I thought. Miss Clara Luper has given to me cannot be put into words. When I first entered her classroom, I was a shy person that hated to speak in front of large groups. But by the end of the year, things had changed. My shyness had gone away, and speaking in public became easier. The way she ran her class was like a business. Each person had a job to do, and it was up to him or her to do it. History came alive for me. Through role play, I gained an insight to history. I got an idea to what the people of history was thinking. It sometimes seemed as though we were the ones making history. I guess if I had to sum up Miss Clara Luper, I would say she's inspiring. She's proud and determined, and she really taught me a lot. By Tiffany Tollfree.
Mrs. Luper will always be remembered by me as a teacher that really made me work in class and gave me a reason why I should. She taught me the correct and proper way to greet people and that communication is the key to success. She will always be remembered as a teacher who would always make me start over when I would say, during a presentation. She was and is a shining example to me. Donnie Nero, class of 1967.
Mrs. Luper is the best teacher of all. She always cares, even through winter, spring, and fall. She might fuss when she doesn't get her way, but she's just trying to make for a better day. Luperland was a vision I saw with my eyes, not of a loser, but a winner who always tries. Willie Nolan.
I would like to stop 1 second, Shelley, because I have to tell you about some of the people that we've heard from, so many of you all across this country. And I just want to give a special thanks to Reverend W.B. Parker from out in the Spencer area and St. James Baptist Church. I just want to say thank you, Reverend Parker. Reverend Parker was a teacher at Dungy when Mrs. Luper was out there years and years ago. And I would also like to say thank you to Evangelistic and Quails Methodist, and to the Sigma Gamma Rose and Mrs. Dorothy Dale Smith and Mrs. Helen Browning and Fifth Street Church. I want to say thank you to so many of you. And I know that I will hear from those of you that I've not heard from. And if I have if I've not personally talked to you, don't be offended because I've tried my best. And it's not that I just couldn't reach everybody, but you know that you are welcome to be at this dinner because you are part of her life.
Clara Luper really cares. She cares about us. Always she cares and never makes a fuss. She goes to the top, bringing us along. She never stops, even if the journey is long. She's the best teacher ever, for that we are glad. She is very clever, and when she's gone, we'll be sad. She has guided us along, and the year's almost done. Since she will always be with us, look out, world, here we come.
And I'd like to say another special thanks to Mrs. M.L. Sanders of Holdenville, Oklahoma, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday night. And Yvonne Nephew and your group from Guthrie, Oklahoma, and Attorney Gar Graham and Blanche Norman, and those of you from Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I just want to say a special thanks. And to Jean Reed, who's here from Cleveland, all of you. And this is Marilyn.
Yes, Marilyn.
Yes.
This is Miss Sewell. I just couldn't lay and hear all these wonderful words said and not say something. Because she's not only a wonderful teacher, she's a wonderful friend. I've been in the bed 4 years and haven't made a step, but she haven't been too busy every once in a while to stop by and bring me a flower and sweet and cold. She's wonderful. And we'll never find another Clara.
Well, I appreciate you calling so much, and I appreciate you loving her.
And I hope everybody that's called in today will buy a book and be a hole in the wall.
All right. Well, I hope they will, too. And do you know that next Saturday is declared Clara Luper's Day?
Yes,
Okay. Well, keep praying for her. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I just want to say thanks. I want to say thanks to all of you. You've called my office. You sent the replies back in. And those of you that I haven't heard from, give me a call.
We now pause at this moment for the funeral and death announcements. Raw Funeral Home has Mr. Dennis Eugene Hill, whose services will be at 11 a.m. Wednesday at the Roth Memorial Chapel, and Mrs. Lizzie Robinson, whose services are pending. Temple & Son Funeral Home has Mr. Alonzo Ray, Mr. Sam Daniels of Tulsa, Oklahoma, Mrs. Andrea Glover, and infant Ryan Burton. All of those services are pending. The Clara Luper radio show family extends our sincere sympathy to the families of the bereaved.
Thank you, Shelley. We want to continue to talk about the big Clara Luper celebration, which will take place next Saturday night, May 27th, at the Regency Inn, starting at 6:30. 6:30 next Saturday, Clara Luper's Day in the USA. But before we go off the air, there's a little bit of sadness in all of our hearts here at the radio station because we've lost a very good friend, a friend that just seems like a part of the family, and who was buried. And I'll let Mrs. Luper tell you a little bit about it.
This week, Oklahoma City said goodbye to William James Smith. Services were held at the East 6th Street Christian Church with Pastor Edwards. Who was William James Smith? William James Smith was a young man that was born in Oklahoma City. His parents, the late Mr. Thomas Wesley Smith and Mrs. Leona Gardner Smith. Williams attended the Blessed Martin's Catholic School and then graduated at Douglas High School as a member of the class of 1956. The East 6th Street Christian Church was his life at an early age. And then he became an usher at the Greater New Zion Baptist Church. He married in 1958 the lovely Willie Filletta Moore. 4 children were born. William served in the Air Force for 4 years, and he was employed at Tinker Air Force Base for 3 years. He later transferred to FAA, where he worked until he retired. He was a master mason and a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post number 9457. But on May the 12th, he went home to be with his God. And today we would like to extend our sympathy to his loving mother, Leona Pennington Smith, to his daughters, Fran of Oklahoma City and Jaquita of Tulsa, his only son, Waylon J. Smith of Oklahoma City, to his brother, Percy of Oklahoma City, to his sisters, Doris and Billy of Oakland, California. Yes, we loved William James Smith, but God loved him better.
As we prepare now to close a visit with Clara Luper Radio Show, I would like to once again thank you for giving us opportunity to visit with you today. As we close, Shelley and I have a little special tribute we would like to give. We would like to talk about Clara Luper not as an educator, not as a community leader, not as a friend, but as a mother. Here's Shelley.
I would like to thank my mother for all that she's done for me. She's been a terrific mother throughout the years, putting her own needs behind so that her children can be provided for. She's always been there and supported us in all of our endeavors, and I really love her, and she's really special and sweet and kind and the best mother.
The pastor of the 5th Street Baptist Church will bring the message along with his choir. Reverend W.B. Parker of the St. James Baptist Church will be the alternate with his choir also singing. The public is invited. Please plan to attend. Those of us at the Wildwood Baptist Church want you to know that you are always welcome. Yours in Christ. Reverend S.J. Smith, pastor. Reverend Alan Warren, assistant to the pastor. Yes, it's time, and congratulations are in order for the thousands of graduates all over this state. Congratulations, graduates. You have your degrees, you have your diplomas, and I know the world will be a better place because of the fact that you have graduated from either high school or college. And speaking of graduations, I would like to especially congratulate Chris Graham, Eric Sneed, and Don Cooper. I want to congratulate the big three from Fifth Street Baptist Church. One walked down the aisle at McGinnis, the other one at Edmond High School, and the other one at Carl Albert High School. Not only do I want to congratulate those three, I would like to congratulate all of you that were able to hang on in there until you finish. Now go on to college. We have enough people now without the proper education. You need to have your clothes clean. Go to Sherry's Cleaners, located at 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That's Sherry's Cleaners right in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You can put your clothes in at exactly 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can get your clothes out 4 hours later. What else do you want? Sherry's Cleaners, the cleaners that people are still talking about. Dr. A.L. Dow is located at 934 Northeast 8th Street. His telephone number is 235-0536. And he is the best optometrist in the United States. Don't take my word for it. Go down to Dr. A.L. Dow. Not only will he examine your eyes, but he will tell you something else, and that something else would be for your benefit. We talk about the Gordon's Grocery Store, and certainly I would like to thank all of you that shop at Gordon's Grocery Store. You know that this is a store that makes this program possible, and Shelley is here with all of those big specials at Gordon's Grocery Store, 2121 South Portland.
The specials at Gordon's Grocery are 20-pound potatoes, $1.99 a pound, RC Cola, a 3-liter bottle for 99 cents a pound, and sirloin steak cut to your order, $2.79 a pound. And Gordon's Grocery will be open all Memorial Day weekend. And again, those specials are 20-pound potatoes, $1.99 a pound, RC Cola, a 3-liter bottle for 99 cents a pound, and sirloin steak cut to your order, $2.79 a pound.
This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this show is being made possible by the Gordon's Grocery Store. Thank you, Gordon's, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. When we think of music, certainly we think of the Kimbrough Music Studio, located at 820 Northeast 19th Street here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And speaking of Kimbrough, let's talk about Johnny, who is the most experienced musician in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They call her Johnny, but I call her Miss Music. Johnny Kimbrough, the top music teacher, and I'm talking about piano, I'm talking about organ. If it's music that you want, all you will have to do is call 424-5080 and ask for Johnny. If you're thinking about a program and you need a vocalist, great to baritone soloist, why don't you call Johnny Kimbrough? Because Johnny is part of a team and Isaac is the other part. Today's program is going to be something that you will always remember. And speaking of remembering, those of you that like to play bingo, go to the Economy Bingo House in the Northeast Shopping Center. The Economy Bingo House in the Northeast Shopping Center here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And they are having a very special bingo. They had a Mother's Day special last week that was out of sight, but it is going to really be something very, very special. All of that at the Economy Bingo House, located in the shopping center here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That's the Northeast Shopping Center, they call it. You might know it by the Spring Lake Shopping Center. The Skyview Nursing Center is located at 2200 North Coltrane Road. The telephone number is 427-1322. If you are looking for special care for your people that you just can't take care of, you love them, but you just can't lift them, you cannot give them the care they need, why don't you call 427-1322, and they will take care of your relatives for you. I highly recommend 2 nursing homes here in Oklahoma City. Skyview Nursing Center, 2200 North Coltrane Road, and the Terrace Gardens Nursing Home and Convalescence Center, 1921 Northeast 21st Street here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, if you're going to Terrace Gardens Nursing Home, I want you to notice both of these nursing homes. I want you to notice how clean they are. I want you to notice the professional people that work there. Both have nurses around the clock. Both are in minutes of a doctor. You don't have to worry. That's Skyview Nursing Center, 427-1322, and the Terrace Gardens Nursing Center, 424-1449. It's just about time now for the graduates to step out in style, and certainly you can get ready to go to college, and you deserve a tailor-made suit. Sir Charles the Tailor, located at 6225 Southeast 15th Street here in Oklahoma City, and the telephone number is 733-7600. That's Sir Charles the Tailor. Call him about the specials, and the specials are for you. Now, if you need specials, remember now, I've told you, Sir Charles the Tailor, 6225 Southeast 15th Street here in Oklahoma City. I wanted first to let you know who's making this program possible. And I would like to thank the students all over this city that have invited me to their various commencement exercises. I wish I could have gone to all of them, but most of them were on the same night. So if I missed yours in Edmond or Carl, Albert, or please forgive me, I just couldn't go both places at the same time. I had the opportunity last night to be a very important guest at John Marshall High School, where the FFA was celebrating their closing activities. It was a banquet, and I was very happy that one of my students had been elected president for the coming year. And I was also happy to hear one of my students, who's now in law school, Marla Harrington, speak. It's been a busy week, and certainly next week will even be worse because we're getting ready to close out another school year. I had the opportunity last week to attend a special program. It was known as the Northeast High School Athletic Boosters Club's annual awards banquet. Certainly, I was impressed with their theme, which was Vikings ever onward and upward. I was impressed with the various awards that were presented, from softball, football, soccer, cross country, boys basketball, girls basketball, track, wrestling, swimming, baseball, boys tennis, and the cheerleaders awards. I was impressed with the Scholar Athlete Awards, the Outstanding Athlete Awards, and I just wish that our news media could take time and attend some of these affairs and show this to our young people. Now, one thing they can do, they can show us the drug bust, but they sure can't show us the outstanding young people, whether it's in academics and athletics or in both. And this week I was terribly upset, especially with the Daily Oklahoman, because John Marshall's high school track team had won 14 consecutive state track meets. That's the girls, coached by Mr. Clyde Ellis, one of my former students. And the newspaper did not show one picture of that team. Now, suppose they had been of another race. It would have been a different story. Well, I called them and told them exactly what I thought. And I think those of you out in radio land should call our news agencies and newspapers and tell them, tell us something good. Tell us about a team, 14 years of champion, and you certainly cannot say it was an accident. You cannot say that, because no one would have 14 consecutive accidents. Yes, I enjoyed all of the honors that were won by the students of Northeast High School, and especially at Heritage, Smogglebug. It was board. It was really good. But see, wherever you go, there are some things that just stick with you. There are some things that you will never forget. And that was my experience the other night. I heard a beautiful young lady who's the president of the Northeast High School Athletic Booster Club. I heard her speak. It was interesting to me because I had watched her daughter with a great deal of interest during the entire basketball season. I noticed the awards that her daughter had won, and I know that she has a son there, John Marshall. I mean, not John, Marcia Shelley, I apologize, at Northeast. But the thing that really stuck with me was her closing remarks. And today I want to share them with the 600,000 people that are visiting with me all over this state. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to present to you Mrs. Connie Meeks Eggleston, who is the president of the Northeast High School, and she will tell you in her own words exactly what she told the young people. Now remember, she's the president of the Athletic Booster Club. Here she is.
Good afternoon. I had a very important message to give athletes at the banquet the other night. The first remark I mentioned was that I had hoped that we could get more participation and involvement for the years to come from everyone concerned. We must remember that the schools we attend are our schools, and you get out what you put in. No legislator can appropriate enough money. No school administrator can ask for enough support. We are the ones who will have to make it happen. I had a message to give the other night to the underclassmen who will return next year. Remember, you are student athletes. Students first and athletes second. And outside of the school walls, respectable citizens who will try wholeheartedly not to embarrass yourselves, your parents, your peers, nor your school by ending up on TV in a drug bust. To the senior student athletes, whatever you have planned after graduation, do it well. For those entering the work world, it's no easy road. I received my master's degree from the University of Illinois and now work for the Department of Human Services. It's been an uphill battle, even with an advanced degree. Those of you who will attend college, please graduate. Many star athletes fail to graduate. Did you read about the athlete from Georgetown University who flunked out and works as a doorman now? What opportunities he could have had if he would have graduated. If you're going on an athletic scholarship, don't get there thinking that it's going to be an easy street, an automatic NBA. Time magazine indicates that of 20,000 college athletes, only 40 will probably make NBA. Those odds are very hard to bear. The odds of making an NBA team is 1 in 500. Only 1 out of 500 will likely have a chance. This is no guarantee. You must have a goal besides athletics.
That's just so heartwarming. Let's talk about your daughter. Tell me a bit about her.
She started walking, Faye Meeks started walking at 7 months. I knew right then that she was different. I knew that she had character, not just as my child, but she shows examples. She sets an example for other students at Northeast High School. I was very elated to see that the majority of her dear friends at Northeast High School stayed until the end at the banquet to see her receive her Outstanding Athlete of the Year award. I visited several colleges. Well, it's been a battle. I visited several colleges with her to Kansas, Missouri, and Texas. The decision was not an easy one, but she persevered. She selected, out of the 3, one of the most difficult schools academically to attend. I mentioned to her that maybe she could go to another school and have an easier road. She said, Mom, no, that's not what I want. I want the competition. I want to strive. And that's what she did. On April 17th, she signed the national letter of intent to attend the University of the University of Texas at Austin.
I want to congratulate you, and I want to thank you for being my very important guest today.
Thank you.
Thank you so very kindly, and I do hope that you'll stay around with me here today. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this part of the show is brought to you by Marilyn Hildred of Allstate Insurance, your Allstate agent, and it's going to be a good one. Somebody called me and said, why is it you talk about so many things? And you always talk. I talk about it because I want to talk about it. Do you have any objection of my talking about what I want to? And dig the name of this show. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and here to take the show away is my oldest daughter, Marilyn Hildred. My youngest daughter and Tina and all of them are waiting, and even Frank is waiting. It's going to be quite a show.
Thank you very much. And I am so excited today. I am so excited because I'm getting ready for that big celebration next Saturday on May the 27th at the Regency Inn, located at I-35 and Southeast 29th. If you don't have your tickets for that great Clara Luper celebration, then you better call me because I don't have that many tickets left, and there are only 500 tickets available for the dinner. So I have declared, I, being Marilyn Hildred, have declared next Saturday as Clara Luper's Day in the USA. And I repeat, I have declared next Saturday as Clara Luper's Day in the USA. But today we're going to talk about Clara Luper. If Clara Luper has been your teacher and you want to say something about her, then call me. Call me out here at the radio station. If you know her and you have something you want to say about her and you've been waiting all these years, call me, because today is my day and the rest of the show is my show, and the telephone number out here at the radio station is 478-2103, and I have on the line Jeff Lewis. Jeff, how are you?
I'm fine today.
And you're one of Mrs. Luper's diamonds?
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me, what do you think about her?
Oh, she is wonderful. Mrs. Luper is just the most exciting, eccentric teacher I've ever met. She's just amazing in the classroom and everywhere else.
Have you learned anything since you've been in her class?
Oh, yes. She says that she's an American history teacher, but she's much more. She's taught me not only American history, but she's taught me to be confident with myself. And I think that is one of the greatest attributes that she can ever give anybody.
Oh, Jeff, are you personally one of her students? Or tell me something about yourself.
Well, I took a class last year in world history instead of American history, and so this year I had to take it. So I'm a higher level of grade than most students that take her. Mm-hmm. I'm a junior, and I really wasn't looking forward to taking American history, but once I got in the class, it was really fun. It was like no other class because we don't just sit around and learn. We actually act out what happens, and that really implants it in our heads.
Were you able to participate in the presidential dinner that I had the opportunity of attending the other day?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Well, briefly, will you mind telling the radio listening audience about that dinner?
Well, it was incredible. Mrs. Luper had all the presidents. She has the students elect presidents in her class, and it was a luncheon for all of these presidents. And she had all the presidents sit up there on the front row, and she had FBI agents running around making sure everything was all right. And every one of the presidents got to stand up and tell about his or her term and how Mrs. Luper has helped them. And it was just wonderful.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate you calling, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday night at the Clara Luper's Appreciation Dinner. And I have declared next Saturday is Clara Luper's Day in the USA. And do you have anything else you would like to say to the radio listening audience?
I would just like to say thank you very much, Mrs. Luper, because you're a wonderful teacher, and we love you.
Thank you very much, Jeff, and I appreciate you calling. You're visiting today with Marilyn Hildred because I have declared next Saturday is Clara Luper's Day in the USA. If you have something you want to say about her, call me. If I don't like it, I'll hang up. The number is 478-2103. And Shelley has some letters that we're going to share with you, this radio listening audience. You sent us letters from all over this country, and we just want to take a minute to share some of these letters with you. And also, we have Tina here who's going to help Shelley because we want you to know that we we appreciate you. We appreciate you because we love you. And before Shelley, we have Mrs. Hunter. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well nicely, and you, Marilyn?
Oh, I'm wonderful because I'm getting ready for next week. And next week, next Saturday, will be known as Clara Luper's Day in the USA, declared by no other than Marilyn Hildred.
And second by Lady Ruth Hunter.
All right, then.
Okay. But I wanted to call and tell all my friends now, I've been telling you for the past weeks and weeks and weeks that on the 27th, which is this coming Saturday, that I'm going to see you at Clara Luper's retirement dinner. So now don't let me go out there looking for you and you won't be there. Now you always say, well, I'm a friend of this and I'm a friend of time. You know, talk is all right. But you have to kind of show people. Now this is the show time. Now this is where you hear about the nitty-gritty, Marilyn.
Yes.
This is the nitty-gritty. You let us know if you are for us or against us. So I'll be looking to see you come out. You told me that she is my friend and she's this. So I know we're going to have so many people that those 500 tickets that you said you had will not be enough, Marilyn, to get into that building on next Saturday night. So I know that we're going to really turn out on next Saturday night, and that time is
6:30.
6:30.
6:30 p.m.
And that place is
The Regency Inn.
the Regency Inn, and the address
I-35 and Southeast 29th.
29th. So all I have to do is exit on 29th, make a left and go over the bridge, and there's the hotel.
Over the bridge.
That's good. Fine. I know exactly then where it is. But you talk about a person that's really electrifying, Marilyn. I think I know more about your mother than you do, because I remember one time that she had decided to get out of the system. But we, as members in the community who was looking in, you know, you look in and you see what others do not see. And we couldn't see her not going into that classroom, because when she walked into the classroom and was with the teacher, students, just a very short time, she would electrify those kids. And I said she had a way of teaching that no other person that I have ever encountered. Because she could go in there and you wouldn't know anything, and before you left, you would just know, you would just know practically everything that you would need to know about one day's lesson. And I see how she does the youth. Okay, she said, tonight we're going to learn 10 presidents. And she has a way of doing it that when you walk out of there, you don't ever forget those names. So this is one thing that I know that she is, was, and continuously will be a dynamic person. And she is also a worker. Don't tell me that she's not a workaholic, because you know how she works, don't you?
I know.
She is a workaholic. I don't know what other scenarios that I could say or do that I'll be talking about Clara Luper. And, you know, I got one fantastic story that I tell all the time, but I'm going to wait and tell that fantastic story on Saturday night, because you're talking about, this is incredible. Well, this story that I have to tell.
Oh, you better tell it now.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no,
hush, Miss Hunter.
I want to hear it that night, because this story, you would have to say, this is incredible. And I said, no, it's not incredible. That's Clara Luper. And so if you want to hear what this is, you're going to have to come out on next Saturday night to see what this incredible story that I'm going to tell.
This is a Lady Ruth Hunter special.
This is a Lady Ruth Hunter special.
Okay.
So I'll be looking for them to come out on Saturday night, 6:30, and I-35 and 25.
Now, do you remember what day I declared next Saturday to be?
Right.
Clara Luper's Day in the USA.
In the USA.
That's right.
Good.
Okay.
So, okay, Marilyn.
And I look forward to seeing you, and thank you very much for being our friend.
Well, good deal.
Okay.
And I'll be talking with you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Shelley, here you have it, Shelley. Shelley Luper, my baby sister.
Clara Luper, retire? Bah humbug. Retire from what? I have known this lady more than 35 years, and to expect this dynamic personality to retire, it ain't gonna happen. Her interest, her enthusiasm for life, her quest for a better and more equitable society will keep her on the front line, fighting the good fight, as long as there is a breath in her body. I first knew her in the early 50s. We owned and operated a Dairy Queen store at 23rd and Eastern in Oklahoma City. The Dairy Queens of that day had no inside seating. All orders were placed and served through an outside window. We served all races and creeds to our everlasting, and I might add, economic credit. A strange and wonderful thing began to happen about a block from that Dairy Queen store. An energetic and purposeful black school teacher began to assemble a group of fearless young people that was to break the color line in the food service in Oklahoma. They assembled. They marched downtown. They were polite, attentive, good citizens asking for service. They were refused week after week. Mrs. Luper went to jail. She came out of jail and they marched week after week until they won. The implication of that victory on the social and moral climate in Oklahoma transcended the mere purchase of a food order at a lunch counter. The rest is history. Clara Luper was and is a part of that historic movement that has changed the face of the United States. We applaud her. The wrongs have not all been righted, but the opportunities that now exist for all citizens willing to work to seize the moment are continuing to expand. Clara Luper, retire. It ain't gonna happen. She will continue to be in that select few who will ever sacrifice personal hours for the benefit of all of us. With the passage of time and the perspective of a historic look at the 50s, Clara Luper's name will be prominent in the history of Oklahoma. Clara, we love you, we applaud you, we salute you. Retire, it ain't gonna happen. C.H. Dunn, formerly of Dunn's Dairy Queen.
Mr. Dunn at Dunn's Dairy Queen. Thank you, Shelley. And on the phone we have Lily Buckner. Hi, Lily. How are you doing?
Fine, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm so excited. I'm so excited today.
Too, Marilyn.
And did Mrs. Luper have the opportunity of teaching you?
Yes, she did. She taught me at Dungy High School over 30 years ago.
Uh-oh.
And I gained more knowledge from her than I have in all these years.
Well, Lily, what do you think about her as a teacher?
I think she was one of the greatest. She was, she is, and she'll always be. She's super.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and I want you to know that I have declared next Saturday as Clara Luper's Day in the USA.
Well, thank you, Marilyn. I think you did. That's great, and all the Dungy students will be there to cheer her on and wish her many, many, many more years.
Wait, let me tell you this. Did you know that Joe Hill is coming from Saipan, which is almost 11,000 miles from here, to come to this retirement dinner? 11,000 miles. He is presently practicing law in Saipan in 4 languages. That's Joe Hill from Dungy High School in Spencer, Oklahoma.
We're proud of the Dungy High School grads. They're doing great, and we account most of that to Mrs. Luper because she gave us a good foundation.
Well, Lily, before you hang up, do you remember Luella Henderson?
I do.
Dr. Henderson will be here on Thursday for the retirement dinner. I've had so many calls from these Dungy students. I didn't even know Dungy had that many students. And listen, now, if I have missed any one of them personally, will you personally extend